This is the sound of tremolo. Tremolo is the effect of volume modulation. Easier stated, it is the effect when the volume of your guitar is moved up or down at the rate of speed that you choose. It'd be the same thing if you were driving around in your car, turning your stereo up and down quickly, depending on the rate of tremolo that you've chosen. This is a 1946 Model 601 DeArmond tremolo, and in fact, this is the very first standalone guitar effect ever made. You would set it on top of your amp and plug in, and a metal can spins inside of it on a motor full of fluid, and it essentially shorts out your signal, causing your volume to drop and rise, and that is the effect of tremolo. This effect becomes really popular when an artist named Bo Diddley uses it on a self-titled track, Bo Diddley. After that, through the 50s and 60s, we see tremolo become a staple in tons of tube guitar amplifiers over the years, most notably and most famously in amplifiers by Fender like the Deluxe Reverb. Tremolo is all over popular music for decades and decades. Through the years, pedals were introduced that did tremolo in various forms, but in 1997, Boss released the TR-2, which is still considered a staple in guitar tremolo in a pedal format. If this doesn't do the sound you're after, you're probably a little weird, and there's some other pedals for that. In the early 2000s, Z-Vex releases the Seek Trem, which is a sequencer-based tremolo where you can turn on and off different stages within a sequence and do really crazy sounds. And we also have a big hit in the DIY kind of obscure fringe scene of pedals around this time. It's the Tremulous Loon. It has a ton of controls and it does a lot of crazy things. And these two pedals really branched tremolo away from being just standard into something more creative. Tremolo also has a few different branches on the tree, so to speak. One version of tremolo is called Harmonic Trem, and you'll see some different companies make this. We make a 3 Series pedal called Harmonic Trem, and essentially this is a type of tremolo from a type of Fender amplifier in the 60s. It's actually a little bit more of a true modulation in the sense that it almost does univibey, phasery sounds. At its core, it is a tremolo, but it has a bit of the phaser or univibe type movement to it, and it's really, really cool. This unit, if you flip a switch, turns it into a traditional tremolo. Then you have things like the Eventide H9, where you can go in as a multi-effect and choose distortion, fuzzes, choruses, and tremolo. Go into that tremolo and do crazy stuff. You can make tremolo into something that almost doesn't sound like tremolo because simply you're modulating the volume of it. And if you do that fast enough, you might end up with something like a ring modulator sound. And if you do it slow enough, it'll be so subtle that you might not even hear it, you'll just feel it. It's also worth mentioning that some of the best tremolos made today are actually in combination with a reverb, because amps like a Princeton or a Deluxe Reverb made this such a staple sound in guitar. And two of my favorite versions of this effect are the Flint. You're gonna see this on so many amazing players' boards. It has a tremolo side with some different settings, and then a reverb side with the same. And you can combine these, and in a way, it'll give any amp that classic Fender tremolo reverb thing. Also, the Milkman f-stop is a big favorite of mine. The same thing here, reverb side and tremolo side. So don't be afraid to combine tremolo with reverb for a very staple, unique sound that finds itself in a lot of popular music.
We interrupt this program for an important clarification. When we filmed this, Keeley had not yet released his new pedal, the Zoma. It has now dethroned every other trem reverb pedal in Josh's life. Check it out.
Some of my favorite uses of tremolo that you can go listen to for inspiration are things like the album Raising Sand by Robert Plant and Alison Krauss. Has a lot of amazing use of tremolo as a rhythmic, almost percussive part of the guitar playing. Radiohead The Bends has a lot of great examples of tremolo that's very hard, or the depth is turned up, so it's very, very pronounced and obvious. I like this because it shows that the effect can be used in an extremely rhythmic way, and it can also make a normal riff sound really dramatic. Another example of hard tremolo with a lot of depth or mix is the Smiths' How Soon Is Now. This is an iconic track for tremolo. I'm the sun and the air. More classic versions of tremolo that are very familiar would be Born on the Bayou by Creedence Clearwater Revival, or Bruce Springsteen's Born to Run. I want to close this off with some of my absolute favorite tremolos from history and present. The Demeter Tremulator is a classic. It's from the boutique era, and it's really hard to beat how good this tremolo sounds. Another classic is the Voodoo Lab Tremolo. You could have a nice argument on the gear page about whether the LED or non-LED version sounds best. I'll let you figure that out for yourself. The Parabola by Caroline, it's awesome because it's really normal, but if you need it to be, it can be kind of weird. It has a switch here that you can hold down and cause havoc and feedback. A great newer tremolo is the Pulsar by Electro Harmonics. This is based off of an old vintage thing that they made in the 70s. I do want to mention this is a very rare inverted graphic. I don't want to brag, but good luck finding this, Daniel. He has like 6 of them. And on the cheaper end, I would recommend the Ibanez Tremolo Mini. It's really great, really simple, and kind of hard to mess up. The same goes for these. This is the Flamma Optical Tremolo. Very affordable, very available. And the Kmise? How do you say this? Anybody know? Kmise? Let's say Kmise. It's a tremolo. It trims. There's a pedal that's not in the room right now. It's in the storage facility with all the other pedals. And I'm really bummed out because it's the Cusack Tap-A-Whirl. It was the first tremolo pedal to ever have tap tempo. And it's a big deal. And you should check it out. And John Cusack's awesome. He put tap tempo on tremolo and no one had done it. And I feel ashamed that it's not in this room. But I'm gonna move on, and you can berate me in the comments. And then last but not least, a couple shameless plugs that I'm really proud of is I'm proud of the Tidewater because it is really simple and sounds really great. You can also turn down the mix and use this as a preamp boost pedal. That's pretty cool. The last JHS that I would mention is the Kodiak. It is an extremely expressive tremolo with a lot of options. You have different waveforms, even a randomized waveform that just chooses what it wants to do. You have tap tempo, mix, ratio for that. You can do expression and tap tempo out via this jack. So this is a very modern trem for people who need a lot of different sounds, and really proud of the fact that we pulled this off. So when you find the tremolo that's right for you, I would suggest putting it right before your delays and reverbs, but I need you to know something. The classic reverb sounds that you find in a lot of Fender sounding amps, the tremolo is actually after the reverb. That's something interesting about the Princeton and a lot of popular music that you've heard, is that the reverb from the spring is happening and then it's being tremoloed. So just know that. The rule is to put it before your delays and verbs, but by all means, do not be scared to put it after, and definitely add distortion to those harder square wave, fully maxed out trims, because it's super cool. Thanks so much for watching this episode. If you liked it, hit like, and if you want to see more content like this, let us know in the comments below. Go buy a tremolo and have a lot of fun. Have a wonderful day. Tremolo will fix your entire life and every problem that you have. I promise you. Not really, but like it could happen. Maybe. I don't know. Probably not. What do you think, Nick? No? I think we're good. We're good? Are we good to go?